So that's where she is now. The laser did its part to kind of prep the eye for him to do the cataract surgery, but it perfects it.
That's so cool. Technology's came so far. I was telling a girl a while ago, the other girl that was
Heather.
My mother passed away at 101, and she was blind.
Wow.
But she had cataract real bad.
Yeah, and back then it was a whole different ballgame. It wasn't like this at all.
There was no LASIK.
No.
She had surgery years and years and years ago, but she had the black lenses that thick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And she never did be able to see.
No.
Really
they used to take out, instead of it getting to this point like Medicare approved, they used to have to wait for it to become ripe so it looked like that. And you're blind because you can't focus with a lens like this.
Right.
And they took the whole thing out and they gave him thick glasses and they just didn't do a whole lot for you. So now they take it out, but they don't want it to get to that point, and they can take everything out and leave that membrane intact and put an implant in there. So it's pretty neat.
Hers was so bad that her eyes just looked yellow.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they did. So you'll see, even on this one, you'll see the how it starts and how he takes it out, and at the end the difference, because instead of being yellow in there, it'll be you'll see a clear capsule, and then the retina, which is in the back of the eye, is red. So that's why you get red eye reflect when you take flash pictures, is the retina. When you have cataracts, light is blocked by it. Light can't penetrate all the way through because of the yellow cloudiness in the way. So colors will be vivid and bright.
Well, she went to get her eyes checked the other day again, because she needed to get some more contacts or something, and they said they couldn't fix them this time.
Not with cataracts. Well, glasses or lenses won't make a difference when your lens is cloudy. So there's her eye, and you can kind of see, let me get, he's still working on centering it. So she had the laser, you can see that perfectly round, precisely centered opening placed on that membrane, the capsular bag, and then the fragmentation, it's kind of a crisscross, but that pre-softens her lens. Laser patients, LENSAR laser patients, have a suction ring that hold the eye steady so it pulls on the eye. So their eye is a little bit pink around there for maybe 5 to 7 days, but that goes away. So he starts by placing a small side port incision. He instills additional numbing medication to ensure her continued comfort. The laser also treated her astigmatism. That means that the cornea is oval shaped. So it made what is called a semi-incision that scored little dots to let him know where to open it with this little instrument here. So he's opening it to make it a true incision. Yeah, he's still working on that. I think she might have one on both sides. It looks like there's one over here too. So that means her cornea was shaped like a football. Once he rounds this up,
yeah, I can see
one there and one on the other side, I believe. That makes it shaped more like a baseball. So when it heals, it'll heal round.
It's supposed to, normally it's supposed to be round, right?
Right. So astigmatism is an oval cornea. It could be one side, it could be both sides. So that, the laser knew exactly where to score it. So all he has to do is just kind of go through there and make sure it's an open
That's what
incision.
the ring is for, isn't it? So
it's holding his eye steady, her eye steady, as he uses that instrument. And he's just making that a true incision instead of little dots. Now he'll place the main incision. So the main incision and that small side port incision each provide access to her natural lens where the cataract is formed. He enters through the main incision. He's in the anterior chamber, which is behind the cornea, but in front of the lens. He just instilled gel to lightly inflate and lubricate that area. Now he instills hydrodissecting fluid. That fluid goes up under that membrane, surrounds the nucleus in the cataract, and kind of makes it loose. So now he's ready to disassemble the nucleus and remove it. He inserts the phaco handpiece. Now she's moving her eye a little bit.
It's like a little curtain over kind of, isn't it?
There's a drape around her that's
yeah.
It's so that way the only thing exposed is the surgical site. They're going to give her a little more sedation there so that she's more relaxed. So this is the phaco handpiece. The phaco is ultrasonic. It has a hollow tip that vibrates at 40,000 cycles per second. As it emits ultrasonic waves, it will make a little indentation right down the center of that thick nucleus in the center. Another drop. I'm not sure if that's what kind of drop that is.
I get an instructor on here too.
Hmm?
I get the instructor on here.
Oh yeah, that narrator.
That is.
Now they're waiting for an instrument. All right, so this is still the phaco handpiece because he's still disassembling the nucleus of the cataract. Like I said, it vibrates and emits ultrasonic waves, and it irrigates, and that helps to soften the area that he's working on through the irradiation. So he is now using the nucleus rotator on the right, so that will help him separate, rotate, and manipulate the nucleus. So with these two instruments working together, he's disassembling it into very tiny fragments, and he's guiding those fragments right back to the tip of the phaco, which also works like a vacuum. Putting a little extra either numbing medication or gel in there, I'm not sure. Let's be waiting for maybe that to take effect more. Okay. So she's moving that around in there and disassembling it. The fragments are becoming smaller. And as they're becoming smaller, he starts to vacuum them into that tip.
Wow.
There it goes. So that's the thick part of the cataract, the nucleus. It's gone. So now what still remains in the capsule is the softer and thinner part of the cataract. This part is called cortex. It's like a soft, thin layer of cataract that lines this M&M-shaped membrane, and because it's soft and thin, he doesn't need an ultrasound to break it up. So this instrument that he's using is non-ultrasonic. It only does two things. It vacuums and irrigates. So as cortex is removed, that capsule will become bright and clear. So instead of looking like this as it did in the beginning, it's going to look more like it did before she ever had a cataract, nice and clear. when it's clear, he's just getting the rest of that out of there, you can see through it. It's a nice clear capsule, and you can see all the way, like I said earlier, to the back of the eye where the retina is, and the retina is red. So now that'll help her with seeing colors more vividly and true. Everything will probably seem a little brighter also. All right, so the cataract is now gone. Put some more gel in there, viscoelastic gel. This time it is preparing the capsule for the cartridge that holds the lens. So as the lens goes in, it unfolds. It has two arms attached. They're called haptics. So it looks something like this. And those haptics keep the lens in place by flexing gently against the capsular bag. So now he's going to go in and withdraw the viscoelastic gel. Go vacuum the front and the back side of that lens to get all that residue from that gel out of there. And then center the lens behind the opening in the membrane that the laser created. That lens takes up most of that area in there. It's the largest thing you see, but here's the actual size right in the center. That little dot. So all those instruments are smaller than that. Pretty tiny. All right, so now he pressurizes her eye to seal the incision. That means he instills saline into the anterior chamber. He's tapping to make sure it's watertight. He'll probably pressurize a few times. But anyway, he's instilling saline into this area. Once it fills, it makes it snug where it comes together along the limbus. That's where it all comes together. And when it's becoming snug, it's almost like a pressure seal in a very mild sense. So that way she should not need any sutures. And he's just perfecting the position of the lens. The little air bubbles that are in there, every time he goes in, he creates them. So they're hard to get rid of, but they go away anyway on their own. They'll absorb throughout the day. Taps again. The last thing he'll do is blot with a couple of sponges. And if he remembers that you're recording, he'll get real close at the end for you. And then afterwards, if you want to swing it around at the very end, he'll give you the thumbs up as your finale.
Okay.
Up, thumbs up for you. She did fine. No, he didn't. He just turned around instead. All right, so I'll take you back to sit with her now because she's all finished.
Okay.
And we'll go over her instructions and give her a little snap to make sure her